Hi, and welcome back to Kingdom Come Deliverance, where we want bring Hans's necklace back.
God be with you, lad. What can I do for you?
I've got that necklace.
Excellent news! I'm not going to ask you how you did it. Here's a reward for you. Now you can carry on with your next task. I want you to sneak the jewellery into Carolina's trunk along with this letter.
Can't I just hand them to her?
You cannot! Under no circumstances must she find out who sent them. Otherwise the whole secret admirer ploy is fucked. Oh, and by the way, Henry, watch out for the butcher. He keeps a very close eye on his daughter, and if he catches you sniffing around, well, may all the saints preserve you. Once you've delivered the things, wait a day, and then come back and see me.
Good luck then.
Sneak the necklace and letter into Carolina's trunk. We'll have to find them. That's the necklace. Sealed love letter. It's sealed, okay. It's both in here. Yeah, I can't. Does it have a value? No. I was thinking about sorting it better, but I can't. Okay. I can't sort that better. Okay, that will be difficult, so we can't do that like in a slur of the moment thing, where we just go in, do it fast. No, we have to be completely concealed while doing that, because that will be difficult. So we're breaking and entering again. Okay, we are in. Why are we at 27 visibility now? Did we do something weird? Is it the blood on the sword? So stuff like this normally doesn't change visibility. Weird, why is my visibility less than it was before? Or more, actually. I think we were at 24. Did I get rid of some... No, I'm just stupid. I didn't remove the helmet. Didn't I remove... Did I do something else weird? No, okay. The butcher lives over there, I know that. And best to do this would be on the day, as they are outside then, most probably. Because I want to see whether I can go in from here. There is a way through this over there. I've never been to this back yard. Oh. Complete place is private now. Wow.
But I'm reduced to this.
Okay, I think I'll have to do that in the night.
Family, my livelihood.
The problem is I need to go upstairs and they're being followed and there's a dog and okay, we wait till the night. Stupid guy's still going around. I wanted to go upstairs. Might need to be fast. But with his letter on Capon's family necklace. Wait until morning before going to see Lord Capon. And now I have my torch out, because you have to have your torch out in this place, as we already learned by almost getting imprisoned once. Wrong gauntlets. Oh, it's so much that I have to equip, de-equip, equip, de-equip. Whatever. Okay. So we have to wait until morning to see Capon, which is over there. Okay, he's still in the tavern. Or somewhere over there, at least. Should have taken my horse, but it's not a long walk. Oh, there he is.
God bless you. What troubles you?
I delivered the things as you asked.
I already know. My spies told me everything. She was wearing the necklace this morning, as I asked in the letter.
So you'll go to the rendezvous with her?
Certainly not. I'm not going to pounce on her like a bull in rutting season. Her feelings must be allowed to mature gradually. Meanwhile, you'll get a potion for me.
I thought you didn't
A
believe
potion.
in witches' brews.
This is no witch's brew. It's an absolutely tried and tested elixir called Musk of Infinite Allure. There's a fellow in Sassau who sells it, and he guarantees its success.
Musk of Infinite Allure? Sounds irresistible. All right, I'll try and get it for you.
I'm sure I can rely on you. Here's some coin for your costs.
See you later.
Get Musk of Infinite Allure for Sir Hans. In Sassau? That sounds... I was just wanting to say... that sounds like the charlatan. Horse. And the charlatan is in Ledechkono, not in Sassau. So let's go over there.
Powder made of the
And there he
bones
is,
of
directly
Saint
at the fast travel point, as I knew. Hi, my friend.
Well, well, who have we here?
Ah, the prodigal son returns. I knew you'd come back to me one day.
Let me guess, you saw it in a dream?
I knew you were going to say that.
But I had a divine revelation. That next time I won't be around to pull you out of the shit.
Oh, well, I am sorry. But these things are sent to try our fortitude in the face of adversity.
I'd like to try your fortitude. I've heard you know of some irresistibility potion or whatever it is.
Ah, naturally, Musk of Infinite Allure, an age-old recipe, maybe even older, tested by Moses himself.
Moses?
How do you think he managed to get his people to follow him through the desert for 40 years? It's extremely potent.
Yeah, so it would seem. How much do you want for it?
Who do you take me for? The wisdom of the ancients isn't something that's bought and sold in the marketplace. Did Jesus charge for his miracles? But since you ask, how about this much?
That's not much.
Really? All right, double then.
What? Why? You... why do I even bother?
If you like, I can mix the elixir for you in exchange for a small favor.
Oh, not again.
Now, is that any tone to use with your master? For shame.
Apologies, Master. I was carried away by my thirst for knowledge.
I understand your impatience, but the way to wisdom is narrow and arduous.
And leads out the window. About that recipe.
Yes.
I could just buy it.
Would you teach...
Can I do
Certainly.
alchemy training already? I
Well.
think I'm level 9.
So what is it you want from me now?
Ah, my dear apprentice, everything's gone to the devil. I'm living from hand to mouth, sleeping on straw, and the local peasants won't buy from me. They say they don't trust me, as if I was some kind of charlatan. Can you believe it? Does
Yes.
this look to you like the face of a swindler?
Yes.
I'm an honest trader in sacred goods, whose only concern is the welfare of troubled souls.
No.
A regular good Samaritan.
And any time now the slanderous gossip will spread here from Sassau. I should leave before things get worse. But I can't go anywhere until I've made a bit of coin. So what's needed is to give the locals a bit of encouragement, to open their hearts and purses.
I'm not going to go around beating people for you.
What do you take me for? I wouldn't hurt a fly. Violence is for the dull-witted. We must gently demonstrate to them the necessity of buying my remedies. For example, to ward off a revenant.
Revenant? What revenant?
The dead, returned from the grave. A corpse that the soul is unable to depart from, which wanders among the living, filled with rage at its wretched fate.
Yeah, I saw something like that once. But it was just some drunk going home from the tavern after losing all his money at dice.
Don't make light of such things. Now tell me, do you know how to deal with a revenant?
Kill it.
Chop its head off and sprinkle holy water on it?
That is the traditional way of dealing with such supernatural manifestations. You are my trained apprentice, but the ignorant villager is entirely at a loss how to deal with such dark forces. It is our
I assume all of those were right.
And how do you propose to do that?
Well, they're all doubting Thomases. They need proof. There's one along the way to Sassau, but it's got one minor shortcoming.
What's that?
Well, it's not entirely empty.
Not entirely? What does that mean?
You have to dig it up first.
Why this particular grave?
The locals don't like to talk about it, so it's surely got some sinister past behind it, and in places like that, revenants sprout up like mushrooms after rain.
Well, if that's how it is, we could open old wounds. That could easily set people against us. Again.
Then it would be best if no one could connect us to it, wouldn't it?
I'll need a spade then.
Yes, dig it up and remove the remains, leaving no trace.
And what am I to do with the remains?
Keep them. Human remains are always handy to have around.
Great. And how do we spread the word of this revenant?
There's a gossip in every village. Here, too, a woman who'll spread news quicker than a dozen messengers on the fastest steeds.
And what am I to tell this gossip?
All you have to do is casually mention the empty grave, and before evening, I'll wager the whole village will know about it.
Where does this woman live?
The last house on the left, on the road to Sassau. She was the first person I met here, and by the time I reached the village green, I already had a mob looking suspiciously at me. The rumor-mongering fishwife.
And that's all?
Not quite. You should ask her who was buried there. So we've got a story to work with.
So, dig up the grave, talk to the gossip.
And the remains. Don't forget to remove them. Otherwise, no one will believe in the Revenant.
I might have known any task for Capon would
No
turn into
rest
some
for the
insane
wicked.
escapade. Grave robbing. Jesus.
Grave robbing. Wow. Oh, the stupid must, just because I don't want to shortcut it by paying those $4 for it. Okay, it's just over there. I'm just riding towards it, digging it up. The first house on the left road to Sassau, I think that's the one I just passed when riding out of town here, because this is the left road to Sassau, not Passau. Is it on top of that hill? Apparently. Don't see anyone around here yet. mud. Are you trying to throw me off the thing again? Again? This one, interesting side, okay. Don't see anyone around, start digging. So there are two graves next to each other. And how do I know that this one? Thorax and femur, humerus, cranium. And now we should talk to the local gossip after we find a horse. Sometimes it's difficult to sit up on the horse because it doesn't trigger whatever. Before we go in, we should definitely wash ourselves because there might be a shake-off if I have dirty clothes on, which will automatically fail it. That's like the easy way to program it. But I can wash it off directly in front of her face, because that's also how it works.
God be with you, good wife. Has something happened here?
Heavens no. It's quiet here, unlike some other places.
And what about that empty grave?
What empty grave would that be now?
The one beyond the village, alongside the road to Sasau. Just by the river, on the Pine Headland.
How would you know it's empty, unless it was dug up?
Oh, it's dug up, all right. Freshly. And empty. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
Lord in heaven, what in the name of...
How come it's not in hallowed ground, anyway? Only unrepentant sinners are buried like that. Usually.
I don't like to say. It's an old wound that's best forgotten.
Whose grave is it?
Well, once a long time ago there was a young charcoal burner living here with his wife. There was always a lot of charcoal burners here, but this fellow worked alone. That's not an easy job for one man.
No one wanted to work with him, or what?
Oh, he was a hard-headed fellow who always wanted to take care of his family himself.
Well, I can understand that. It's always better to work for yourself than break your back for someone else.
His wife was expecting, though no one knew it yet. And he wasn't doing well at all. Soon enough, they had nothing to eat. And so he took to thieving.
Well, I can understand him. To watch your family suffer like that. What could he do when they were going hungry?
If we'd known how badly off they was, folk would have helped out. But he kept his troubles to himself.
And did he get caught?
Well, at first it was just a few eggs going missing from people's hen coops. But then it was anything that wasn't nailed down. And in the end, they caught him.
And I suppose he was harshly punished for it.
Even then he didn't let on why he was doing it. They whipped the skin off his back and banished him from Leditchko.
So justice was done then?
It wasn't enough for some folk. When the butcher found out he'd never get any compensation, he wanted them to chop off the charcoal burner's hands. If the bailiff hadn't talked sense into him, he'd have done it himself with his cleaver.
Well, he got off lightly enough then.
And in the end, he got what was coming to him, and more.
The butcher caught up with him?
No. It was the mills of God turning slowly but surely. His wife bled to death in childbirth, and the child died with her.
God have mercy on their souls.
Amen.
Nothing could have been done to save them.
There was no one there. He had no one who would care for his wife. They say on that day he parted ways with God forever, and he turned his back on the village too. I reckon he never forgave himself, nor us either.
The Lord moves in mysterious ways. But how did he end up?
Don't ask me that, lad. I beg you.
Come now, good wife. You can't leave the story unfinished.
I said no. Will you let it lie?
Can I talk to other villagers to know the rest of the story? Okay. We have to talk to the charlatan.
bloody tears of
We could also try to talk to the bailiff. The Ledechko bailiff. Where would he be? There's no scribe here, yeah? Without a scribe, it's always hard to find the bailiff. Other than by just walking around, because he gets no map icon. Charlatan then.
Greetings.
I know who was buried in that grave. A young charcoal burner.
So begins the tragic tale of the young charcoal burner who became entangled with the devil himself.
Oh, don't start. What devil? I'm trying to tell you, he was from Ledechko. He was trying to eke out a living for himself and his wife, but he couldn't manage. When she fell pregnant, he took to stealing.
Pride drove him from the straight and narrow path, and soon he sold his soul to the devil to fill his stomach.
They caught him and punished him, but some of the people he'd robbed didn't think it was enough. Then when his wife died in childbirth, and the child too, he blamed everyone for it. Even God, apparently.
But when the time came to pay his debt to hell, the devil had no use for his soul, and took his wife and child instead. The charcoal burner cursed God, who struck him down in righteous vengeance. But the dead man's soul never left his body. He came back as a revenant to vent his rage at God and men and take vengeance on the living.
Jesus, did you listen to what I said at all?
Sorry, did you say something?
Oh, never mind. What do you want me to do with it?
The question is, what would the Revenant do to get revenge on the villagers? Well, apprentice?
The gossip mentioned the butcher. It seems he was infuriated that the charcoal burner's punishment was too lenient.
And the Revenant spoiled their meat with his malign touch.
How's that?
Spoiled meat is a classic example of a Revenant's power.
Huh. I thought it was the work of bad butchers.
That too, sometimes.
So, I should switch the good meat for bad at the butcher's. What about the butcher woman?
What about her?
Well, her conscience is still troubled on account of her man, and she feels haunted. This won't help her much.
What's that got to do with you?
Well, I want to help her.
All right, if you can find some other solution, you don't have to switch the meat. But I wouldn't worry about her. But make sure it's the same kind of meat. Not even a Revenant will turn a cow into a chicken.
He was stealing food from people, right? So, supposing he started again.
We should steal from people? Disgraceful. Have you no shame?
From
Maybe
you?
just a few eggs from hen coops, like the gossip mentioned.
Well, that wouldn't be too serious a sin. Will they put it down to the Revenant, though?
They would, if I put some charcoal there instead.
And their nourishment he turned into ash.
What about his wife and child? No doubt he'd want to avenge their death.
Well, how did they die?
In childbirth.
And when his love turned to rage, the water turned to blood. Nothing too original, but it's tried and tested. If you do it at the baths, everyone will hear of it.
How am I supposed to do that? It might be a bit suspicious if I'm seen walking around with a pail of blood.
No problem. There's a certain potion that will do the trick easily.
He cursed God. That's very serious.
What is it that most brings God to mind?
They don't have a church there. But everyone will have a rosary. I can't think of anything else.
That's it! If folks start losing their rosaries, they'll have sleepless nights over it.
You want me to steal rosaries? But that's...
Or just exchange them.
For what?
For nothing.
Great.
Wow.
So, switch eggs for charcoal, switch the meat, color the water in the baths, and switch the rosaries. That ought to do it. I hope so. Of course, if you come up with anything else, don't let me hold you back. Talking to people might give you ideas. Traders, the bailiff.
Well, what if someone sees me in the act?
They mustn't. Otherwise, it'll end up like Sasau all over again. Don't draw attention to yourself, or they'll put two and two together.
Sure. I'll keep my head down. And how will I know if I've succeeded? I doubt it'll be announced on the market square.
I'll be the first to know. They'll come running to me for a remedy, like hens at feeding time. Off you go and raise hell.
But whatever he did, don't you think he deserves some peace?
Dear Henry, after all the poor wretch went through, I'd say he's beyond any peace.
Well, he certainly won't have any as long as I'm carrying his bones around with me.
Ah, but you know who those remains could help.
Help? Who? How?
Me, of course. And I'd pay you a nice price for a Revenant's bones.
But there is no Revenant.
Not yet. What do you say?
Maybe I should bury him somewhere else.
What are you saying? That would be such a waste. Anyway, if someone saw you, the whole game would be up.
Well, supposing I do it later, when the fuss has died down.
All right, if you must. But I don't know what you hope to get out of it.
At least the poor wretch will have peace at last.
Maybe. As long as you bury him in hallowed ground. Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
Like in Ratai, maybe?
Well, that's probably the nearest. That gossip-mongering crone would know.
True, I could ask her.
If you must. But for heaven's sake, don't even hint to her what you're up to. Goodbye.
Bury Lef's remains in Ratai. Okay, what else do we have? We have so many sub-quests here. By the way, speech leveled up and we can get our last thing. Don't need to sell stuff. One final offer during haggling, why not? So, there was a lot in this quest. Replace the butcher's fresh meat with rotten meat. Find out what kind of meat the butcher has stored. Replace the eggs in the chicken coops with charcoal. Color the water in the bath. Brew the potion to color the water. Oh. Steal rosaries. Check in with the charlatan from time to time. Find out how frightened the villagers are. Bury Lef's remains in Ratai. Talk to the gossip about the charcoal burner. There's fucking lot of things to do now. Wow. Never expected that. So what's this? Mask of Infinite Allure. Color the water in the baths. Talk to the gossip with the charcoal burner. Replace the butcher's fresh meat with rotten meat. First I'm riding north for the alchemy bench because we'll be needing to brew that red color potion. That's what we're starting with. I'm trapped here. Am I not? No. Okay. This path is so great. It's such a small path leading to the left to the thing that I almost went past it the last time. I had to look it up like thrice. No, on the map. Which one? And it's going. It's like this little small path that you can lose so fast. But this time I found it very obvious, which is a bit weird. So red stuff, 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 please red stuff, please red stuff. Are you fucking kidding me? Brew the stuff. It said. Brew the stuff, it said. Where is the stuff that makes stuff be red? How would I... Fucking kidding me, you asshole. Ah, he didn't give me the recipe. I need to buy it from him. And back to the charcoal burner. What an... not charcoal burner. What am I talking about? Back to the alchemist. Not back to the alchemist. What the fuck is wrong with me? I hate fences. Because jumping with the horse is a nightmare to control. So you...
Closer, my friends.
You fucking asshole, why didn't you give me the fucking recipe?
What's the recipe for that potion you were talking about?
You mean for coloring the water? Ah, well...
Well?
Pay close attention now.
I'm all ears.
How love turned to bloodshed. Once there was a knight who, though upright and noble-looking, had a prickly, unapproachable appearance. He fell in love with a fragile young maid, whom he saw with her sisters in a field, all wearing bright red wimples. But he was afraid his prickly exterior would frighten her. So he asked the advice of another knight, a pious and learned crusader, who carried the name of the patron saint of his order with pride. The pious knight told him he would arrange a rendezvous with the maid. All three would drink wine together by the river, and he would help his friend to get acquainted with her. This they did, but the maid fell in love instead with the pious knight.
I'll have to listen to that like 5 more times.
To a duel. The two fought long and fiercely, but they were equally matched. And so, in the end, they both fell mortally wounded, anguished at the tragedy her beauty had caused. The young maid took a dagger from one of the knights and plunged it into her own heart. Their bodies lay together on the ground, and the blood flowed from them into the river, turning the waters crimson.
I thought you were going to tell me the recipe, not some fable.
It is the recipe. I mean, the recipe is concealed in the story.
What on earth for?
So I don't forget it.
All right. So what does it mean?
I can't remember.
Great. So if you don't know, who does?
You'll figure it out, my loyal apprentice. I remember there are 3 plants in the story, but that's about all. But I know it was a simple recipe. It should be enough to grind the ingredients and brew them together for one turn. So, all you have to do is work out what the ingredients are from the story.
Sure. Why make things simple if you can complicate them?
Okay.
See you later.
You fucking kidding me? And now I need to write to that again with my stupid memory of, I think, poppy, thistle, and send words, whatever. Yellow flower. Hoping that I have them all in my inventory. So poppy, St. John's wort, that's it. And thistle, we have it. Okay. Can I just mix stuff together on my own? I've never tried that because that's not how the recipes worked. But I might be to blind brew potions. I might be able to do that. Never tried it. Well, let's just ride into the woods here. We'll find it at some point, I hope. Yeah, there we already are. way faster if you ride straight. So this is St. John's. Fuck you. St. John's Wort and thistle poppy and how can I do ingredients? How can I do ingredients? How can I do ingredients without having a recipe? I can't do ingredients without having a recipe. Wait, I have herbs. Can I prepare like single herbs like the thistle? Like this one? Can I say thistle, please? Oh, this could also be henbane. That's the one that we don't have, the only one. I mean, start alchemy, start with wine. Maybe after adding the wine, maybe I'll be allowed to start brewing. Because at one time I had like a weird interaction point with the shelf, but only once. Fuck you. I know what to... Inventory. It's pretty obvious. 1 poppy. St. John's Wort. Thistle. Is there wine inside that? Yeah, okay. So, 1 thistle. One St. John's Wort. And 1 poppy. Because the knight was thorny and the other one had like a patron saint in his name. And she had a field with red flowers, which can only be poppy and marigold is reddish, but it's orange. But it might be reddish enough. Put it in. Boil it for 1 turn. So it's starting to boil. Turn the stupid clock. Pull the bellows twice. Get a fire. Wait till the scent is through and then complete the potion. New recipe. You brewed fake blood. Okay, brew the potion to color the water. Okay, so I can blind brew potions. So if I ever want a potion, I can just look it up online. I mean, I have like Lazarus potion and marigold decoction and like the digestive potion that I might need and the antidote that I might need. I don't need any other potions, so no need to go with anything else. Okay. So we got the fake blood, which is I think the only one that will point us outside of Ledechko. Ledechko had a smith. I'm buying charcoal now. Where the fuck am I in Ledechko? What the? Okay, I came in a weird way. I want to buy charcoal from the blacksmith. And then I need spoiled meat, which will be the most troublesome part because I need spoiled meat and for that I need to wait a long time.
Greetings, good knight. God be with you.
But here's charcoal and we'll buy like 10 of it. So we have enough charcoal for this. I haven't seen Matt for a long time. He was doing problems all that time and now I'm not seeing him along. Okay. Are we prepared? Are we prepared? There. Replace the butcher's fresh meat with rotten meat. Find out what kind of meat the butcher has stored. Replace the eggs in the chicken coops with charcoal. Steal rosaries. And talk to the gossip. Okay, let's try to talk to the gossip more. But I think we already did all the talking to the gossip. For stealing rosaries, I'll have to go around. What the fuck? Why are you not here? It's E, that's A. Where's the gossip? Of course she's at the other side of the town. Right when I'm like about to do like the last thing I wanted to do this episode. And I'm still not knowing where the roads are in the Ledechko. So what the fuck are you doing in the mill where Matthew and Fritz worked? Now you are bringing away your piss downstream. Okay. Piss and shit.
Good afternoon.
Good wife.
Yes, lad.
You know, I can't stop thinking about what happened to that poor wretch.
Have you no consideration for a poor old woman? I told you I don't want to talk about it.
It might relieve you to talk to someone.
Relieve me from what?
Well, guilt.
Guilt? Why should I feel guilty?
Well, clearly something weighs heavy on your soul, just like the other villagers. The older ones. And I'd say it's connected to that empty grave. Well, that wretch returns as a revenant, and no one does anything. It's not just fear, but more like everyone is expecting some punishment that was bound to come one day.
Oh, you might be right. Maybe it would give me some peace in my old age to finally tell the whole story. Several people from the village went to have it out with Lev, but he grabbed an axe and drove them off. He swore if anyone came near him, he'd burn their house down. Then he buried his wife and child in the meadows beyond Ledechko. I saw him carving 3 statues there.
Lev, you say his name was? What kind of statues?
There's 3 roughly carved beams there, each with a human face, except the smallest, which has no face at all.
For the stillborn child, I suppose. What happened then?
Nothing. He went back to his work, but never spoke to the villagers again. He'd even go all the way to Ratte for food, rather than talk to anyone here.
So he died alone in the end?
Actually, it was the villagers. It was us that killed him. No. Not long after, fires started springing up in the village. And when the first house burned down, the folk were very angry.
And of course suspicion fell on Lev.
Everyone was dead certain it was him. They all remembered his words. Do you know how arsonists are punished, lad?
No, I don't.
By burning on the pyre. But no one wanted to waste time with the law. We just went to his house at night, smashed in the door and windows, and threw lighting torches inside. And that was the end of him. But the fires didn't stop.
So he was innocent?
He was.
Well, I won't condemn you for it. It's for God to judge, but may he forgive you for it.
Thanks, lad. I pray every day for forgiveness, and it's a weight off my shoulders to tell someone. Take care.
Okay. Shouldn't that quest be done with now? Yeah. Optional: bury the charcoal burner's remains near Ledechko, where his family is buried. Should be, if it's said near Ledechko, in the meadows. Okay, over there. That's way out in the open field, so we can actually do that without being seen by the other villages. So let's do that as the last thing in this episode, to get rid of those bones. I don't want to think about having bones in my pockets all the time. I hate fences. Fences are such an alpha wall in this game. Over there. Just a bit along this field. Of course, the 3 statues. Bury. Join your wife.
Rest in peace.
May you join your wife and child. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So I don't feel I feel less guilty about it now, but it's still bullshit that we're doing this to scare the people off. But whatever, let's just do it. So what we still have to do is drop charcoal and all those chicken dens and steal rosaries from the people. And spoiled meat. So let's see, replace the butcher's fresh meat with rotten meat. Which means I need to buy fresh meat, so oh god. Hare meat. Hare meat. Where would I do that? I can't really replace that. I can't place something on a table. No, that's lockpick. Well, this is looking destroyed. So, in here? No. Nothing interesting? Or is it here? This is normal meat. This is also normal meat. Like deer and stuff. Talk.
I'm honored that you should come. May the Lord watch you.
He has a lot of meat. Which meat am I
Chickens. That should be no problem.
Replace the chickens, you need 4. I need 4 chickens. The interesting thing, I'll leave them in my inventory to rot. Is it all here? Find out what kind of meat the butcher has stored. Replace the chickens, you need 4. So we need to look around more carefully to see the examine or interact prompt at some point. I don't want to steal it, I want to look at it so I can use it for the quest. I mean, this is a smoker or dryer or something like that. I mean, the chicken is the only thing I saw, because this one is not interactable. This is not interactable. This is not interactable. Nothing is interactable here, which is totally weird. That's another bench to sit. That's just stuff. Okay. I'm going by the assumption that we have like less than half of what we were thinking about here. But okay, let's buy 4 chickens. Okay, we bought 4 chickens. But they will need to be rotten. So I'll have to wait till they're rotten. Reach a new level in herbalism. What from that 1 flower? Not replace that yet, because that's... Still can't see what this is all about. Weird. Why is there only this one interactable point? Maybe he has something more stored in his house. I'll come back in the night to look around. I'll do a lot of stuff in the night. So we have to steal 3 eggs and 5 rosary beads. We have to bloody the water. And yeah, that's what we're doing in the night. But first off, I'm going to read you a book. And we're going to read on the Margraviate Wars. When Emperor Charles IV had taken his last breath, order in both the Bohemian lands and in the entire Roman Empire began to deteriorate. The new Emperor Wenceslas IV could not maintain unity and prosperity, and thus this union of states did begin to unravel, and its rulers, without a strong hand to guide them, did begin to quarrel and conspire against each other. In the lands of the Bohemian crown, and in particular in the March of Moravia, it led to support for Sigismund of Hungary, the brother of Wenceslas IV, who was seen as a better ruler who could resolve conflict and quell disorder. Wars in Moravia began when King Wenceslas, represented by his cousin Prokop after the death of the Bishop of Olomouc, did occupy for himself all of his estates and did consider them to be his own, and the tide of resistance did rise as many of the Moravian nobles did claim these estates as their own according to inheritance rights. Jobs of Moravia stood at the head of the discontent lords, and with support from most of the Moravian dukes, he began to openly rebel against the king, and did ally himself with Sigismund of Luxembourg, or Hungary. This act of rebellion was not so much about the bishop's estate, but about who should rule Bohemia and Moravia, Wenceslas or Sigismund. For the time being, however, only inheritance rights are spoken about aloud, for no one has yet dared to make mention of dethroning the king. Moravia has found itself in a whirlwind of fighting and anarchy, for the local nobility have plundered each other's towns and conquered each other's castles, depending on whose side they were on and to whom they believed the estates should belong to. How many villages were razed to the ground and how many innocent lives were taken in the name of this tug of war. Many knights who had up to that point demonstrated behavior and deeds fitting to their rank now formed robber bands and on the highways attacked and murdered travelers and merchants alike, for there was no one to stop them. Later other Bohemian lords did side with the Moravian cause, with Jobst at the head, and the king was imprisoned and Sigismund was openly supported to become the new king of the land. And that's what we learned about the wars that we have behind us now. But now, Fearless Felix, what a name.
No, I didn't know she did that.
Weird. So, tomorrow we'll continue with No Rest for the Wickeds, because we need that Mask of Infinite Allure, and I don't want to buy it. I want to get it as a quest reward, because I want to do all side quests. And yeah, now I'm sleeping, so that will see us tomorrow in the night.